스크린 스크린 없는데. 없나?
돌리시면 옆에 컨택트로 아니야? 네네 이거 아니 이거 저희가 아마 맨 앞에 있을 겁니다. 아니요 이거.
Добрый день, уважаемые коллеги.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. So we're going to start our work, and I propose we start it. And our session is dedicated to international connections after COVID-19. And we are going to have a simultaneous interpretation, Russian, Chinese, and English. We're working in Zoom. And at the bottom of your screen, you can see an icon of translation, and you can choose your own language there, or you can hear simultaneous interpretation. Good day to you once again, dear colleagues, dear Secretary General. My name is Gavril Kirillin. I am Minister of Foreign Relations and People's Affairs of Yakutia, and I'm going to be the moderator for today's session. I am very happy to welcome you on this online session dedicated to the new ways of developing international connections in the world after COVID-19 pandemic. Today, we have over 100 participants of 33 regions of the members of the association, RASPA association, and 7 regions from Korea, from Mongolia, from China, and from Russia. And on behalf of the chair of the organization, Yakutia, I would like to thank you all for your interest in our today's work. And before we start our session, I would like to say that this year our association is 24 years old, and our next year is going to be an anniversary, 25th anniversary of our association. And at the moment, we have 78 regional administrations from 6 countries, including China, Republic of Korea, North Korea, Mongolia, Russia, Japan, and 1 member, corresponding member, Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City. Today, we have 6 speakers from Mongolia, Korea, China, and Russia, and each speaker has 10 minutes. And the participants are encouraged to ask questions in written form in the chat. Please say your name and your position, and all the answers to your questions will be sent by email. So we're not going to have a discussion, an oral discussion. So I propose we start the work of our session, and I invite to the floor Deputy Chair of the Government of Yakutia, Sergei Mesnikov.
Сергей Алексеевич, не слышно.
Dear Mr. Kim Ok-che, dear representatives of the Association of Regional Administrations of Northeastern Asia countries, I welcome you on behalf of the government of Yakutia. Yakutia is the chair region of the association since 2018. And as the chair of the organization in August last year, the capital of our republic, Yakutsk, hosted the 7th session of the working committee of the association. And we had the first meeting of subcommittee on sport. We had representatives from 19 regions of China, Japan, Republic of Korea, and Russia. due to the pandemic of COVID and because we couldn't hold the General Assembly of the association this year, the chairmanship of our republic was extended until 2021. And I would like to express our gratitude to Mr. Kim Ok-chae and the members of the association for supporting our chairmanship. And I'm sure that with our joint work, we will be able to overcome the results of the pandemic. And next year, we will be able to welcome you all at the General Assembly of the association here in Yakutia. And despite all these limitations of the current age, we need to continue sharing our experiences and to find new ways and proposals for joint work directed at the development of regions in Northeast Asia. COVID-19 pandemic affected all of our lives, and I am confident that there is no region member of association which has not been affected by this issue. But all regions use different approaches to this problem. And because of this, in order to share our experiences of the regions connected with this pandemic, we have initiated online session at the pressing issues connected with the new ways of developing international relations after this pandemic. And this is held today within the frames of the Northern Development Forum, which is also organized on the initiative of our republic online. We're going to discuss issues that are connected with transportation infrastructure in the North and the Arctic, global partnership in Asia and the Arctic, indigenous people, and management of Arctic resources and territories. Dear friends, I would like to thank you all for your interest to this event. And I would like to thank personally the Secretary General of the Association and all the members of the Association. I wish all of us fruitful work and good health. Thank you very much.
Сергей Васильевич.
Thank you, Sergei Vasilyevich, for your greetings. And I would like to give the floor to Secretary General of the Association of Regional Administrations of Northeastern Asia, Mr. Kim Ok-chae. Dear Secretary General, the floor is yours.
Dear Mr. Sergei Mesnikov, representatives from the member regions, distinguished guests, good morning. I am the Secretary General Ok-chae Kim. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to the Republic of Saha for offering us a chance to host the NEO special session online. In today's meeting, more than 100 participants from 32 NEO member regional governments of China, Korea, Russia, and Mongolia are present. The NEO General Assembly, the International Forum, and the workshops were all postponed due to the corona pandemic this year. In that sense, holding today's video conference could not be more timely. In addition, I'm glad to know that our member regions still have a great desire for international exchange. In particular, when it voted on whether the General Assembly should be postponed to next or not, nearly 90% of our members voted, which was unprecedented. I can say that today's meeting is meaningful on the ground that we'll be sharing information on health, education, and logistics, among other things, as you embark upon life in the COVID-19 era. Moreover, I hope that in today's meeting, informative presentations will be made on new type of international cooperation as required by the fourth industrial revolution, which has been brought forward by COVID-19. Lastly, I look forward to the day when we all can meet again, having overcome COVID-19. Until then, stay healthy and safe. Thank you very much.
Уважаемый генеральный секретарь, я благодарю вас за приветствие.
Dear Secretary General, thank you for your greetings. As you know, the Secretariat of the Association of NIR is in Pohang City in Korea, and the members of the Secretariat of the organization are working there, and they are helping us to coordinate our efforts. And I would like to present to you the video greetings of Mr. Lee Chol-woo, Governor of Gyeongsang-pukto Province of Korea.
Так, еще раз. Слышно?
Unfortunately, we don't have the sound of the video greeting.
Something problems in technical. We can't hear.
Раз.
Уважаемые друзья, мы сейчас
모든 그런 개척을 니어 특별 세션을 매우 뜻깊게 생각합니다. 러시아공 사하공화국
Hello, my name is Lee Chol-woo, and I'm the governor of Gyeongsang-pukto Province, Korea. I congratulate you on the opening of the NSDF and the special session of the NIR regions. I think it's very crucial in our time, and I would like to thank the heads of the Sakha Republic Yakutia, Arsen Nikolaev. I would like to wish you a successful event, which will become a brilliant platform for discussion of issues of international cooperation in post-COVID era. Gyeongsang-pukto is supporting NIR, and I wish everybody successful work.
Уважаемые друзья, мы заслушали видеообращение губернатора провинции.
Dear friends, we have listened to the video greetings of the governor of Gyeongsangbuk-do province, Mr. Lee Chol-woo. We have another video greetings from Mr. Esteban Leon, head of the program on profiling the sustainability of cities of UN Northern Habitat program.
Good morning. By the time that you listen at this intervention, it's the morning, but it's 4 a.m. my time, Barcelona time, and that's the reason I recorded instead of participating directly. I will be well asleep by the time that you listen at this one. Interesting to be part of this. I have to thank you for the invitation on behalf of myself, but also on behalf of UN Habitat. It's an important topic, I think. It's something that that many people are asking about. How is it going to be the future of international relations in a post-COVID world, or still COVID world? I think that it's one of the interrogants that we all have. And my response will be that clearly diseases don't care about governments, ideologies, or borders, and that's something that we have seen in this COVID pandemic. If you think at the very beginning, the immediate response was to the health problem. It was kind of disseminating around the world, but in taking different shapes. And I always I like to say that the whole world has been confronting this pandemic, the COVID-19, in different ways, but it's a similar problem. So that's why I think that the key question on the international relations vis-a-vis this COVID-19 is, how can we make sure that we learn the lessons from what's happening, and how can we make sure that in future we are prepared and we are resilient for this type of events? I mean, I think that we have to extract some lessons learned from what happened during these last months. We started the new year 2020 in a very interesting situation for all of us. We didn't expect, and I would say nobody expected that we were going to enter into a global pandemic that was going to lock us down and remain at home and work like now virtually all over the world. And as I said, I think that the first response was very much health driven, but very quickly it became a very political response. And I think that we have to consider that at the end of the day, the responses that most countries are giving to this pandemic, to COVID-19, is very much driven by the political spectrum of each country. And that's the reason why you can see that different governments took different measures, and some follow some of the recommendations from WHO, some others not. Some others try to see themselves how can they respond, and some governments went through a very strong lockdown. Some others did a light version of it, and some others didn't do it at all. Reality is that it doesn't really matter how much the response to the health problem was. The impact on the socioeconomic part has been quite heavy. And it's going to be, and I think it's going to be the most difficult part of the whole COVID-19. You know, most cities, especially cities that are mainly touristic cities and live from the tourism, have been heavily impacted by this pandemic. Some other cities have suffered the lack of demand on services. And of course, later on came the lack of demand, on the lack of offer in some services. and if you start considering these aspects, how they differently responded to the pandemic, I think it will be very interesting to think about how it would have been easier if we were all connected and take advantage of some of the potential responses that we had. First, I think that one of the main contributors of good international relations into this COVID-19 could have been a comparative analysis. You can see how different cities responded, how different countries responded, and you can learn from it. And perhaps that would have been the best lesson to take. Quick communications among countries and among cities would have been a very interesting result. Would have resulted in a very different impact to this crisis. The second is also to understand when and why states decided to stop traveling or stop trading. And what are the reasons for that? And I don't know how much of that was a political decision and how much was a technical or scientific or analytical decision. And again, I think that the fact that you could have a very good international relations, international response, and very coordinated, could have improved the response in many ways. That's something that I think it for sure. Third, I think that the socioeconomic impact of this pandemic is going to happen anyway. I mean, it's now it's a matter of thinking how can we reduce the impact rather than change it. It's obvious that if you start reducing. If you start with a lockdown and you reduce the offer and you reduce the demand for services, the city won't work as it should work. I mean, it's not a full city, and therefore I think that that's another premise that we have to consider. How are we going to go out of this one? I think that we have to start thinking in many areas, and again, the COVID-19 is one. I mean, the health problem of COVID-19 is one, but the socioeconomic problem is another. And I think that while we transition between the health problem and the socioeconomic problem, we have to remember always that we have some bigger challenges coming. And some of them is still, we are going to go through a process of urbanization that is changing. Still, we have the climate change effect, and you know more than many other nations or regions how climate change is affecting. I mean, these cities that are built on permafrost are cities that are heavily impacted by the climate change effects. So that's another thing that we have to consider. And I will say we have to be strong in not letting what is emergency or immediate response overwhelm what is the long-term view. While we are responding to a pandemic, we have to also consider that what impact will that response have. And probably that was one of the main lessons that we could have taken from this COVID-19 pandemic. The fact that we have to analyze what is going to come after the process of locking down. Again, from our point of view, I think that having a strong international relations and dialogue among countries, regions, cities is super important. You can learn from processes that others went through, and you should start coordinating better. Many of the questions that also come after this pandemic is are we going to close ourselves to our own economy? Are we going to reduce the trade? Are we going to reduce the contact with other cities and governments? Well, consider this. We are living in a world that has been going through a process of globalization, and you know, I mean, more and more we are global. We depend on others. We are not an island. We are not isolated into a different setting. So definitely we have to learn from the processes that others went through already. But the other issue that is very important is we have now the technology and we have now the advancement for keeping these relations fluid. For example, this is one of the examples of this virtual meeting. I mean, I'm in Barcelona. It's 4 a.m. my time, and I'm talking to you, and you are in Yakutsk, and it's mid-morning for you. So I think that that this shows that if you have the will, you can do it. I would like to finalize this by thanking you all for listening, by thanking for the invitation, and by reinforcing the commitment of UN Habitat to support this type of initiatives, to support the fluid communication among different cities and nations, and to try to extract lessons learned and pass it in order for others to not to replicate failures, but to build on the achievements of others. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Спасибо, коллеги.
Thank you, colleagues. Dear participants of the sessions, I remind you once again that your questions, proposals, and comments can be asked in the chat of our video conference. They will all be sent to the speakers. And now I propose to move to our reports, and please welcome our first speaker, acting Deputy Chair of the Government of Yakutia, Sergei Mesnikov. He's going to talk about further development of education after the pandemic. Thank you, dear colleagues. Once again, good afternoon to everyone. And this is a very interesting topic, development of education during the pandemic and after it. And I think that this topic is interesting to everyone because it is quite an important topic which takes up a large part of our life since our birth and all throughout the life. And our common goal is to organize this process in a way that makes it high quality and provides accessibility to all the people in our regions. As you know, in March, we all switched to distant education, to online education, and we have questions now. Were we ready for that? Did we manage to pull it off? And what can we do for improving this in the future? I'd like to start with the fact that in our republic, from the beginning, this problem has been looked at very seriously, and our strategic documents have tasks and goals of getting quality education. This is in the strategy of social and economic development of the Republic until 2032, where we have goals for creating conditions for developing people, human beings who will be competitive in the world. And our Republic has its own specific features, and they are connected with our large geographic area, remoteness of our settlements from each other. Some of our villages are located from over 500 kilometers to the nearest other settlement, and this creates additional difficulties for organizing education. We have over 800 preschools 649 general schools, 211 additional education institutions, and 43 professional education institutions, secondary and higher education. And another feature is that the system of education in Yakutia, over 70% of all preschools and general schools are in rural areas, in villages. Many schools have only a few students and are located in very remote areas. About 5, 7, 10 years ago, we have started seriously working on creating digital infrastructure that is, first of all, connecting all our schools and preschools to the internet. And this gave us positive results when organizing the educational process during the pandemic. We have a portal of education services of the Republic with an automated information system about all the digital services of the state. And to create this in conditions of open education and to provide quality education, we are implementing the concept of digital education in the Republic. And this concept includes automating the interactions of participants of educational process at all levels, providing network interactions between educational institutions, providing modern equipment to all the schools. The system of secondary professional education within the frames of the federal project on modern digital educational environment is working to increase the quality of education and to expand lifelong education for all people in the Republic through online courses. And this provides for the use of online courses to train qualified workers and specialists. The Regional Digital Educational Environment Project is going to create conditions by the year 2024 of creating a modern and secure digital educational environment in 140 general schools, secondary schools, and 45 professional institutions, educational institutions. By 2022, we're going to have 3 digital education centers for children, ITCube. And because of this, our republic, due to its geography and social economy, was at the vanguard of implementation of distant education in Russia. Within the basis of the program, Digital Education in Russia, we have a number of projects running in the Republic aimed at modernizing educational programs, increasing the use of distant educational technologies and digital education, increasing entrepreneurial sense in students, creating cloud solutions, which supports the pilot project on implementing personal educational routes. Also, it's working on improving the professional competences of students, on finding talented students, and on training new specialists. So within this pandemic, we have stopped direct education in educational institutions. And due to this, the students and parents, as well as teachers, found themselves in a new reality, which is a need for distant and online education. The federal law of Russia on education includes the use of distant education, and it requires the presence of high-speed internet for each student and teacher, the presence of laptops and tablets, if the schools at the start of the pandemic all had access to internet, not all children had it at home. And in a very short time frame, we managed to resolve this issue where it was possible to do so technically. Within the frames of the All Russian project, Help to Study at Home, hundreds of families with lots of children and who needed support received laptops and tablets. And I think that this is a very prudent and necessary move. The second key issue is the issue of digital competencies of teachers. To provide distant education, courses were organized to increase the qualifications of our teachers. The monitoring of competencies of teachers showed that they are actually quite literate in the use of information technologies. We also had the need to develop new mechanisms of organizing education. After summer holidays, we ask ourselves a question: how can we organize the education of students, children, starting this new academic year, September 1st? Together with the specialists and teachers, we have developed models of educations that are applicable to all types of schools, starting from small schools and ending with large schools with thousands of students. There were a total of 3 models, and they have all been successfully tried out and are being used today. For example, the first model is of direct full-time education of children with no changes to the traditional model with the study in schools, directly in schools. Second model is teaching students in schools with the use of distant education technologies. And the third model is used in large schools where it is not possible to organize social distancing, where we cannot keep children far away from each other in classes or in recreational areas. And this model provides for full-time distant education. So a switch to the distant education is also applicable to additional education. In summer, during the summer school holidays, our institutions, educational institutions, started to provide additional education to children through distant technologies, using together with other cities of Russia, and for example, the Higher School of Economics and the regions of Udmurtia, Moscow, Chechnya, Kaliningrad, and Kamchatka. The official websites of Ministry of Education and Science of Republic and the Regional Model Center has a digital information methodical educational environment for children and teachers. We also have a functional model of holiday work, and the children and the parents actively used these features in summer, and over 70% of children were taking part in this distant education during the summer. And I think that these measures that we have taken during the pandemic allowed us not only to save the education, but to improve the quality of education. And overall, we need to say that the pandemic has increased the speed with which the distant education is being developed. The schools of the future cannot be imagined without digital education, but the quality of education also includes socialization of students. They need to talk to each other. They need to be together. And unfortunately, distant education is not very good at this. And digitalization is, of course, going to expand the scope and possibilities of traditional education, but it will not be able to fully replace it. Over 46,000 schools, 43,000 students have been in distant education now, of which about most of them were from basically all the Republic and all types of schools. 553 preschools work using distant technologies. There are also 36 schools who have standby groups as well. We, despite all this difficult situation in the Republic, in conditions of pandemic, we continue the education of children, both in distant format and in schools themselves. And once again, I want to reiterate that high quality education can only be achieved if you go to school, if you talk to each other, and when you talk directly to your teachers. But at the same time, we also allow for the possibility of using new educational technologies and digital education in specific conditions. And in conclusion, I'd like to say that in May, the government of Russia summed up the results of educating children during the pandemic in all regions of Russia. And the government of Russia named 5 regions which were successful with this process in conditions of pandemic. And Yakutia was one of these regions which was successful in implementing the educational process and gave quality education for children in schools, preschools, and universities. I think that we will continue our work on increasing the quality of education of our children, paying a great deal of attention to safety of children in schools, to providing the necessary equipment to schools, disinfecting and protective equipment, because our main priority is the life and health of our children. And today we find it very important to continue our dialogue within the frames of NEAR. And as Mr. Esteban Leon said, we need to continue dialogue for mutually beneficial cooperation so that each of us can receive experience on organizing and giving quality education in conditions of the pandemic and to provide our development for the future. Thank you very much for your attention, dear colleagues.
Спасибо, Сергей Васильевич. Мы благодарим вас за ваш доклад.
Thank you once again for your report, dear colleague, and we continue our work. And I give the floor to the Minister of Healthcare, Lernote Imaka of Mongolia, Ms. Chilha Oyuna, who's going to speak about the current prophylactic measures aimed at fighting coronavirus infection.
Good morning. My name is Oyuna. I am head of Health Department in Donut Province, Mongolia. I'm going to talk about current situation for coronavirus infection prevention in Donut and Дорнод аймаг нь хойд хэсгээрээ Оросын холбооны улсын жит мужтай. За зүүн болон өмнөд хэсгээрээ бүгд нямд хятад ард улсын өвөр Монголын өөртөө засах орны хөлөн бүр Хянган, Шилийн гол аймагуудтай тус хэлэлдэг. Хамгийн олон салбар, бонд, хяналтын бүстэй аймаг, авто зам, төмөр зам,
The health
агаарын зам.
law of Mongolia on disaster protection, law on COVID-19 prevention,
Усан хилтэй хэлийн нэвтрэх тээврийн хэрэгслийн болон гайдын бүрдүүлэлтийн 75-аас 80% түүхийн нэгт
and this is working on the territory of Domot Aimak. Unfortunately, I cannot hear the speaker.
So right now, like we are going to talk about all our information in English. So we think like we don't need any translator. So, okay, so the current situation for coronavirus infection and prevention in Donetsk province. So first, Donetsk borders on the north with the Russian Federation, Zabatkaysky Krai, and on the east and southeast with the Inner Mongolia of the People's Republic of China. And there are many borders checkpoints and border zones in the territory of Donetsk province, operating state road, rail, air, and water border crossing points. So export of the crude oil and petroleum products and mining products, and accounting for around 75 to 95% of total exports. So, so the initial measures for the intensified to prevent infection taken included active surveillance activities such as health screening and quarantine control at the airport and rail and land crossing in a frame of legal acts. So the health law of Mongolia and disaster protection law on COVID-19 prevention, fight and mitigation of its socio-economic impacts, and the government resolution order of the Minister of Health, State Specialist Commission resolution, AMEX Specialist Commission resolution. So resolution of the AMEC governor and order of the Director of the Health Department of Donetsk province. So current snapshot of cases in Mongolia infection is surveillance is 68,149. Confirmed infection is 330. Recovered cases is 303. Active cases is 10. So in Donetsk province, observation is 1,088. I'm sorry. So currently 288 home and a observation is 227. Assessment of risk factors. Mongolia is 10 times and Donetsk province is 2 times. So readiness of a hospital is 461 beds for COVID-19 and outbreaks. So there are virology laboratories in NCCD and NCCD. So Donetsk, Darkhan, and Hovda provinces, Mongolia. 92 coronavirus tests have been carried out on September 18th in Donetsk province. So reading of medicines in medical supplies, medicines of 35 items and 1.7 and 10 types of medical devices for 4%. Personal protective equipment is 16 types and 60.4%. Equipment is 10 types, 49.5%. Sterilization is 16 types, 58%. So all health organizations are still working hard and operating 24 hours to preventing from the COVID-19. Stockpiles of essential medicines and medical supplies were provided and distributed. So increase its preparedness and also in eventual response to COVID-19 to control of all incoming and outgoing flows of people at 5 major checkpoints around the city of Choibosang are taking people's temperatures and collecting non-personal data on type of vehicle, passengers profile, temperature, and over 3,924 individuals have been tracked. And a total of 560 passengers crossed the border by 18 September in 22. So corona diseases training events courses population is 28,744. Healthcare professionals are 9,020. So TV program contents are 78 and distributed a guidebook is 28,335. Posted on the internet is 7,332. Social media access is 79,418. So instructions and the recommendation on cleaning and disinfection were sent to 457 organizations and enterprises of the Donut Daemek, and more than 1,000 citizens were distributed, and 7,760 advertising materials of 7 types, as well as a professional and methodological consultation were provided. Local television is sound signals and animation continued to be organized for the townspeople. And wear mask public awareness campaign in response to surge in COVID-19 cases includes a variety of shareable social media content and public awareness campaigns launched by the governments. Mask wear program have encouraged 24 agencies to step help their communities with providing mask and awareness messages about COVID-19 virus. Co-podcast 118 times on social media, 180 times on dead messages boards, and 24 hours a day, 51 times on the Shure market, and 126 times on the 4 TV channels, 6 to 8 times a day. So the population was warned 280 times over the loudspeakers and announced in the duplicates to 42,852 citizens. In Donut province, a total of 348,200 meters of land was cleaned and disinfected, including 7,819 feet latrines, septic tanks, and the public spaces for 5,859 households. So in Donut Daemek's emergency headquarters are its headquarters are 705, 846 and 47. Health Department and RTS and FHCs provide regular consultation and information to citizens. We intend to provide particular information on the infection prevention measures for those working in the school and centers and kindergartens to carry out the prevention among the population to strengthen immunity in order to prevent an outbreak of influenza-like diseases, vaccinate to improve the coronavirus infection prevention and control the levels of healthcare and increase response preparedness resources to supply with the necessary testing equipment and medical materials for the testing for foreigners who working in the development in the Donut province. So that's it for today. Thank you for your attention.
Спасибо. Благодарим наших монгольских коллег за интересный доклад об
We
опыте.
thank our Mongolian colleagues for their exciting report on what are they doing with coronavirus prevention in Darnod, Aymak. Thank you. And to continue with the healthcare topic, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Xie Junjun, the Dean Assistant of the First Affiliated Hospital of Xi'an Jiaotun University. And his topic is Defeat the Pandemic with Collaboration and Build a Global Community of Health. Please, Mr. Xie.
Господин Ше, вы нас слышите?
Mr. Xie, can you hear us?
Ше先生，听得见吗？
你好，请问大家能听到吗？
啊，听到。
好，非常
请
好。
ше先生，第一次。
是这样，那个非常感谢和荣幸有机会我们来参加这样一个交流的方式。我们是这样的。
So we're very happy to take part in this conference, in this event.
那么尤其呢，我们就是医院的食品医院长，也是这次
The COVID-19 epidemic is the fastest spreading, most extensive, and most challenging public health emergency over the past 100 years.
因为就是现在，我向主持人那个
People's lives and health all over the world are threatened. Ensuring people's life safety and health is the top priority. We should make a rapid response, take emergency action, conduct full-scale mobilization, and make the work of epidemic prevention and control effectively. On this 22nd January 2020, all the staff in the first affiliated hospital of Xi'an Jiaotong University canceled their Spring Festival holiday and were on standby. Our hospital has sent 5 groups of medical teams with a total of 158 medical and nursing personnel to assist Wuhan. Faced with the epidemic, we have taken the most comprehensive, rigorous, and most thorough measures for prevention and control. It has achieved tremendous results in the prevention and control of the epidemic. People's social order has gradually returned to normal. However, the outbreak of COVID-19 around the world has become a common challenge for all mankind. On March 18th, the State Council held a press conference of the Joint Prevention and Control Mechanism to carry
Да, дорогие друзья, я думаю, что это...
Dear friends, I think we will be able to do this at the end of our session when the speaker will be ready. We have a 10-minute break.
Да, у нас по плану как раз...
So according to our plan, we have about a 10-minute break, and after that, we can move on to reports of our Korean friends, and then afterwards, we can listen to our guest from China. That is why, colleagues, I propose now
对，看可不可以
it's
推迟
noon.
10分钟，我们就
可以的。
可以，那非常感
Yes, can we have like a 10 minutes break, please? Yes. Yes, unas period. Yes, we have 10-minute break right now.
OK。
The home of mankind throughout the ages. The center of history, culture, and economy that moves the world, Northeast Asia. Dreaming of a new future, of a united global village. A community for peace and co-prosperity. The Association of Northeast Asia Regional Governments. In the globalized era of the 21st century, countries around the world are resolving various issues through international organization. The region of Northeast Asia, which has emerged as one of the world's 3 global economic pillars, is sympathetic to the need to form international collaborative bodies for the promotion of mutual exchange and collaboration among regional governments. As a result, NEAR, the Association of Northeast Asia Regional Governments, was officially launched in Gyeongsangbuk-do Province, Korea, in September of 1996. Through the spirit of reciprocity and equity, trust and respect, NEAR aims to accomplish mutual growth between Northeast Asian countries and contribute to the world peace through collaboration and harmony. NEAR was formed with 29 regional governments of 4 countries, China, Japan, Korea, and Russia, and was joined by Mongolia in 1998 and North Korea in 2002. It gradually expanded, welcoming China's 11 regional governments including Heilongjiang Province, Japan's 11 regional governments including Hyogo Prefecture, South Korea's 16 regional governments led by Gyeongsangbuk-do Province, Mongolia's 22 regional governments including Tuve Province, and Russia's 16 regional governments including the Republic of Sakha, and North Korean regional governments including Hamgyeongbuk-do Province and the city of Rason. Encompassing 78 regional governments in 6 countries and a population of 666 million, NEAR has grown into Northeast Asia's representative diplomatic cooperation entity among regional governments. Since 2017, regional governments of Asian countries beyond Northeast Asia have been accepted by NEAR as associate members to expand the arena of exchange and collaboration. NEAR conducts a wide range of activities around the General Assembly, which is the executive decision-making body supported by the Secretariat, Working Committee, and subcommittees. The General Assembly, which consists of representatives from regional governments, is held under the leadership of chair regional governments on a biannual basis in different member regions to discuss key matters. The NEAR Secretariat, located in Gyeongsangbuk-do Province, Korea, provides comprehensive administrative support and serves as a platform for exchange and cooperation among member regional governments. The Working Committee, which consists of department heads or director-level executives of member regional governments, is held every other year to discuss key matters in preparation for the upcoming General Assembly. Subcommittees organized by industries and subjects such as economy and humanities exchange, the environment, disaster prevention, and ocean and fisheries, selecting a supervising member regional government as the coordinator to drive practical exchange and cooperation. As Northeast Asia's partner for growth, NEAR executes a wide range of exchange and cooperation programs. The annual Working Level Workshop provides a chance to strengthen unity between member regional governments and share experiences. The NEAR International Forum, which is attended by experts from each field, is designed so that detailed discussions and practical idea sharing can take place for the growth of Northeast Asia. By sharing expert knowledge and information, and providing consultation and activity programs, the forum provides a support system for member regional governments in resolving the various issues they face. By hosting the Northeast Asia Young Leaders Forum, which is attended by youths from member regional governments, NEAR seeks to nurture our young people into responsible leaders for the future. Going beyond Northeast Asia to becoming the center of the world, NEAR is forming a close cooperative network with many international organizations. NEAR has established collaboration agreements with AER, the Assembly of European Regions, in 2012, the R20 Regions of Climate Actions in 2014, and ICLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability in 2016. NEAR has formed exchange agreements with the Research Center for Eastern Studies under the Russian Academy of Sciences and Heilongjiang Academy of Social Sciences of China, while collaborating with 15 NEAR supporting institutions in various regions on issues including regional research, economy, social issues, and cultural exchange. Bringing our future closer. A future of peace and prosperity for one Northeast Asia region, one community. The Association of Northeast Asia Regional Governments will strive to create this future. One Northeast Asia region, one community. The Association of Northeast Asia Regional Governments. The home of mankind throughout the ages. The center of history, culture, and economy that moves the world, Northeast Asia. Dreaming of a new future, of a united global village. A community for peace and co-prosperity that unites Northeast Asia. The Association of Northeast Asia Regional Governments. In the globalized era of the 21st century, countries around the world are resolving various issues through international organization. The region of Northeast Asia, which has emerged as one of the world's 3 global economic pillars, is sympathetic to the need to form international collaborative bodies for the promotion of mutual exchange and collaboration among regional governments. As a result, NEAR, the Association of Northeast Asia Regional Governments, was officially launched in Gyeongsangbuk-do Province, Korea, in September of 1996. Through the spirit of reciprocity and equity, trust and respect, NEAR aims to accomplish mutual growth between Northeast Asian countries and contribute to the world peace through collaboration and harmony. NEAR was formed with 29 regional governments of 4 countries, China, Japan, Korea, and Russia, and was joined by Mongolia in 1998 and North Korea in 2002. It gradually expanded, welcoming China's 11 regional governments including Heilongjiang Province, Japan's 11 regional governments including Hyogo Prefecture, South Korea's 16 regional governments led by Gyeongsangbuk-do Province, Mongolia's 22 regional governments including Tuve Province, and Russia's 16 regional governments including the Republic of Sakha, and North Korean regional governments including Hamgyeongbuk-do Province and the city of Rason. Encompassing 78 regional governments in 6 countries and a population of 666 million, NEAR has grown into Northeast Asia's representative diplomatic cooperation entity among regional governments. Since 2017, regional governments of Asian countries beyond Northeast Asia have been accepted by NEAR as associate members to expand the arena of exchange and collaboration. NEAR conducts a wide range of activities around the General Assembly, which is the executive decision-making body supported by the Secretariat, Working Committee, and subcommittees. The General Assembly, which consists of representatives from regional governments, is held under the leadership of chair regional governments on a biannual basis in different member regions to discuss key matters. The NEAR Secretariat, located in Gyeongsangbuk-do Province, Korea, provides comprehensive administrative support and serves as a platform for exchange and cooperation among member regional governments. The Working Committee, which consists of department heads or director-level executives of member regional governments, is held every other year to discuss key matters in preparation for the upcoming General Assembly. Subcommittees organized by industries and subjects such as economy and humanities exchange, the environment, disaster prevention, and ocean and fisheries, selecting a supervising member regional government as the coordinator to drive practical exchange and cooperation. As Northeast Asia's partner for growth, NEAR executes a wide range of exchange and cooperation programs. The annual Working Level Workshop provides a chance to strengthen unity between member regional governments and share experiences. The NEAR International Forum, which is attended by experts from each field, is designed so that detailed discussions and practical idea sharing can take place for the growth of Northeast Asia. By sharing expert knowledge and information, and providing consultation and activity programs, the forum provides a support system for member regional governments in resolving the various issues they face. By hosting the Northeast Asia Young Leaders Forum, which is attended by youths from member regional governments, NEAR seeks to nurture our young people into responsible leaders for the future. Going beyond Northeast Asia to becoming the center of the world, NEAR is forming a close cooperative network with many international organizations. NEAR has established collaboration agreements with AER, the Assembly of European Regions, in 2012, the R20 Regions of Climate Actions in 2014, and ICLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability in 2016. NEAR has formed exchange agreements with the Research Center for Eastern Studies under the Russian Academy of Sciences and Heilongjiang Academy of Social Sciences of China, while collaborating with 15 NEAR supporting institutions in various regions on issues including regional research, economy, social issues, and cultural exchange. Bringing our future closer. A future of peace and prosperity for one Northeast Asia region, one community. The Association of Northeast Asia Regional Governments will strive to create this future. One Northeast Asia region, one community. The Association of Northeast Asia Regional Governments.
Уважаемые коллеги, мы продолжаем нашу работу, переходим ко второй части нашей онлайн-сессии.
And we are continuing our work, and we are moving to the second part of our session. And our Chinese friends are ready now. Mr. Shi Beijing, the Dean and Professor of the First Affiliated Hospital of Xi'an Jiaotong University, is ready. Are you ready, Mr. Shi Beijing? Yes, I am ready. So now the floor is given to Mr. Shi.
各位尊敬的各位领导、各位专家，大家上午好。这个非常抱歉，因
Greetings to
为
everyone.
这次会议太重要了，我刚才在处理一个突发事件，所以呢，也是我们延迟
I'm
了
very
10分
happy
钟。
to be here now. Unfortunately, I couldn't
这
make
个
it
大
to
家
the
知道，今
previous
年新冠肺炎，这个疫情
time
呢是
allotted for me, and
近
now
100
I can
年
speak
来
now.
全球
So the
遭遇的
COVID-19
传播速
epidemic
度
is
最
the
大、
fastest spreading,
感
most
染范围
extensive,
最广、
and
防
most
控
challenging
难度
public
最
health
大的重大
emergency
传
over
染
the
病
past 100 years,
公共卫生
so
事
that
件，
people's lives and health
各
all
国
over
人
the
民
world
生命
are
健
threatened.
康面临着严
Ensuring
重的威
people's
胁，
life safety and
保
health
障人民群
is
众
top
生命健
priority.
康和身体健
We
康
should
是我们的
make
首要
rapid
任务。
response,
所以呢，
take
我们也
emergency
是积极地
action,
做出了反应，
conduct
快
full-scale
速行
mobilization,
动，
and make the
全
work
面
of
动
epidemic
员。
prevention
这
and control
个这
effectively.
次抗疫过程当中，那么也是无论是
On
我们的武汉
22nd
前线，
January
还是我们
2020,
医院，
all
都做
staff
出了这
in
个
our
迅速的
hospital
安排，是得到很好的
canceled their
根据。
Spring Festival holiday and were on standby.
2020年1月22号， 这个医院呢就做出了决定，
It's
全
the
员
first
要
affiliated
休假。
hospital of Xi'an,
因为
Jiaotong
大家知道，这个
University.
春节呢是我们中国的传统佳节，
So
这
our
个时候我
staff
们大家在家里面休息的
firmly
时节，
put people's health
所以我
first
们等于是在春节前
and
夕取消了休
had a
假，
great
全
work
员
on
以鸡待
defeating
命。
this epidemic.
后来呢，先后往武汉
Our
派出了
hospital
5
has
批次
sent
医
5
疗
groups
队，
of medical
一共
teams
是
with a
158
total
名
of
医务人员
158
支援武
medical
汉。
and nursing personnel to assist
同时呢，医
Wuhan
院里面
and
也
has
是积
achieved
极做好
remarkable
这
results
个
in the
准备。
treatment of
在
COVID-19
西安呢
patients.
也是应对了
Consequently, we have
因为作为
accumulated
呢主
and
要的病理医
summarized
院， 这个
abundant
我
and
们也
valuable
是
experience
对
in
很
the
多的发
prevention,
热病人
control,
以
and
及
treatment
已经
of
诊断的新冠病
COVID-19.
人，都在我们医院得到了这个积极的救治。面对疫情呢，我们采
Faced
取了
with
最
this
全面、
epidemic,
最严格、
we
最
have
彻底的
taken
防控
the
措
most
施。
comprehensive,
疫情防控形势呢
rigorous,
取得了
and
很好
most
的结果，
thorough measures for prevention and
保障了
control.
人民生活秩
It
序
has
的这
achieved
个
tremendous
逐渐地恢复
results
正常化。
in the prevention and
但是呢，
control of
现
this
在新冠
epidemic.
疫情呢还在全球
People's social
蔓
order
延
has
蔓延，
gradually returned to
成
normal.
为了我们
However,
全人
the
类的
outbreak of
共同的
COVID-19
挑战。
around the world has
3月
become a
18
common
号的国务
challenge
院
for all
联
mankind.
防联控
On
及时
March
新闻发
18th,
布会，
the State
提出
Council
呢要
held
积
a
极开
press
展国际
conference
合
of
作。
the Joint Prevention
4
and
月2
Control
号，国务
Mechanism
院联防
to
联
actively
控
carry
这个
out
发布会，
international cooperation.
要求呢
On
要
an
继
April
续
2,
扩大
the press
这个
conference
国际合作，
announced
共同
the
抗击疫
continuation
情。
of the
5月
work to
18
deepen
号，
international
这个我
cooperation
们国务
and
院
combat
联防联
COVID-19
控的积极
together.
召开新闻发
On
布
May
会，
19, this
聚
press
焦
conference
新冠
focused
肺
on the
炎疫情
international
防
cooperation
控、国际
and
合作
exchange
交
in
流。
the prevention and control of
我们医院呢
COVID-19.
也是
Our
按照
hospital
我们国家的安
always
排，
keeps an eye
积极推
on the
动疫情
national
防控、国际
anti-epidemic
合作，
work
先
and
后
actively
先后
promotes the
制定了
international
疫
cooperation
情
in
防控的
epidemic
国际
prevention and
交流工
control.
作计划，
We have
整理
formulated
国际
work
合
plans
作
for
这个
international
单位的信
exchange in
息，
COVID-19
收集各
prevention
驻外
and
使馆的
control,
联络方
organize
式，
information on
起草
international
并发送
cooperation
了近
units,
180 份
collected
慰问
contact
信，
information of
拟
embassies
定了
abroad,
网络视
drafted
频
and sent
连
nearly
线方案，
180 letters of
组建了
sympathy,
抗疫专家
worked
库，
out
开
online
启了
video
西安、武
connection
汉
schemes,
两地
established
3
the
线的
expert
联动模
database
式，
for
为国
anti-epidemic
际抗疫
and started
做
the
好了充
Xi'an
分的准
Wuhan
备，
linkage
也为
mode
构建
of 2
人类命
places
运
and
共
3
同体，
lines
那么我
to make
们
adequate
奋力前
preparations
行。
for the international anti-epidemic work.
从3月18号连线
From
意大
March
利
18
那不
to
勒斯
July
海牙
13,
医院，
the
一
international
直到7月13
anti-epidemic
号，
link
国际
activities
抗疫
were
连线
intensive
活动
and
密
orderly.
集，而且
In
呢
the
延
past 4
续在
months,
我们
our
医院进
hospital has
行。
held 22
我们最
online
近
video
4个月
exchange
的时间里
activities
面，
with
先后呢与美
29
国、加拿
countries
大、澳
of
大
the
利
world,
亚、意大利、
including
比利
United
时、
States,
巴拿
Canada,
马、萨
Australia,
尔瓦
Italy,
多、塞
Belgium,
比亚、
Panama,
吉布提、
Salvador,
波茨
Zambia,
瓦纳、刚
Djibouti,
果、印度
Botswana,
以及
Republic of
一带
Congo,
一路的
India,
沿
and
线
other
国家，
countries along the
伊拉
Belt
克、
and Road
伊
like Iraq, Iran, Pakistan, Bahrain, Nepal, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Sudan, and Malawi. We have conducted overseas online lectures on the popularization of science,
学术
professional
研究、
academy,
知识科普、
and hospital
防疫
management
培
from
训、
the
医
aspects of
院
medical
管理、复
technology,
工复产
academic
等多个
research,
方面
knowledge
开展了海外
popularization,
科普知识网络
epidemic
讲
prevention
座、
training,
海外
hospital
专业学
management,
术网络
resumption
交
of
流、
work,
海外
and
医
so
院
on.
管理网络
Our
交流，
activities have been
连
highly
线活动
valued
也受到了 10
by
个国家驻外
ambassadors
大使
and
和参赞
counselors
的高
of
度
10
重视。
countries abroad.
塔吉克斯坦作为陕西
As
省唯一
a
保
friendly
存市，
city of
塔
Shanxi
方疫情
province,
发展情况
Tajikistan's
也
epidemic
是我
has
们
also
备
attracted
受的
much
关注。
attention.
因塔
At
吉
the
克斯坦
invitation
政
of
府邀
the
请，
Tajikistan
经中央
government and with
应
the
对疫情
approval
工
of
作
the
领导
Central
小组
Group
批
on
准，
Epidemic,
5月
on May
23号，
23, we sent
我
two
院又派
experts,
出了
Fan
参与
Wanhu
论
from
坛，
the infection
对症
department,
这个
who
救
had
灾和
participated
抗击
in
新冠
the
的
Wenchuan
感染科的方
earthquake
案，
relief and fought
与
against
反困
COVID-19,
办李宝珍
and
2名
Li
专家教授
Baojian from the
作为
Infection
中国
Control
政府
Office
联合
as
和工
members
作组
of
成
the
员
joint working
前往
group
塔
of the
吉克斯
Chinese
坦
government
援助
to aid
塔夫的抗
Tajikistan
疫，
in fighting the
实地
epidemic
考察
and to
塔
inspect
方
the
的防
prevention
疫
and
和
treatment
治疗
system
体系，
of
并进
Tajikistan
行交
on
流
the
指
spot
导。
and make exchanges.
此外呢，在
In
教学方
addition,
面，
in
西安
terms
交
of
通大学
teaching,
第一附属医院
Professor
吕毅教
Lu
授
Yi
组织了多
of
领
the
域
First
专
Affiliated
家
Hospital
联合
of
打造了
Xi'an
新冠
Jiaotong University
病毒肺
organized
炎
a
预防和防控
multidisciplinary
系列讲座的
expert committee
中
to
英文
create
默课，一共呢是 25个
25
学
hours
时，
in total
为海内外人
on the
员
prevention
提
and
供学习
control
平
of
台。
COVID-19
该课程
in Chinese
在
and
大型公
English
开
languages
在线课
and
程下
provided a learning platform for people from
Coursera
home
上线，
and
同
abroad.
时比
These
联合国教
courses
科文组
have
织
been launched on
在官网
Coursera,
或
a
优
large-scale
部
public
网
online
站
course
发布。
project, and also been published by
我院也
UNESCO
积极开
on
展
its
的
official
国
website
际
and
抗疫
YouTube.
相关活动，
The
先后
international
比
anti-epidemic
央视新闻
activities
联播、
actively carried
新
out by
闻直
our
播间、
hospital
中
have
华
been
人民共和
reported by
国
domestic
中
media
央人
such
民网
as
站、
CCTV
新华
News,
社、
News
大
Live,
乐坛、
Central
人
People's
民日
Government
报、
of the
陕
People's
西日
Republic of
报、
China
西安
website,
日报等国内
Xinhua
媒
News
体
Agency,
以及十
Half
几
Moon
家
Talk,
海外媒体
People's
报道，
Daily,
同
Shaanxi
时也
Daily,
收到了来
Xi'an
自
Daily,
我驻萨尔瓦
and more than
多、
a dozen
土库
overseas
曼斯
media.
坦、莫桑比克
Simultaneously,
大
we
使
have
馆、
received
意
letters
大
of
利、
thanks from our embassies
塔
in
伯尼亚
El
大区
Salvador,
陕西省外事办等
Turkmenistan,
发来的感谢
Mozambique,
信。
Italy's Campania region,
习近平总书记多
and
次
the
在
Foreign
不
Affairs
同场合
Office
提
of our
出构
province.
建人类命运共同体。
General Secretary Xi
2023年、
Jinping
2017年、
has repeatedly proposed the
2020年，
concept of building a
病毒
community of
没
shared
有国
future
界
for mankind on international
疫
occasions,
情部分
2013,
准辞、
17, and
部分
2020.
准除，新
Borders
疫
cannot
情
stop
只是我们
virus, just as
团结与
diseases will
合
not
作、
pick
开放与
infected
共享
races.
已成为我们
This epidemic
前行
reminds
的
us that
普
unity
遍
and
的共识。
cooperation, openness and
一
sharing
带一路
have
是
become
当
the
今世
general
界
consensus
最
as we
广
move
泛的
forward.
国际合
The
作
Belt
平台之
and
一，
Road is one of the
沿
most
线各
extensive
国
international
在经济、
platforms for
文化、
cooperation in the world
教育、
today.
卫生
The
健康
increasingly
等方面
intensified
日
and
益
active
加强和
consultations
活
and
跃的协
exchanges
商与
among these
交流，
countries in the
成为
economic,
推动构
cultural,
建人类
educational,
卫
and
生
health
健
and
康
other
共同体的
aspects
重要实
have
践
become
平
an
台，
important practical
大力推动
platform
一带
for
一路
promoting the
卫
building a
生健
community
康，
of human health.
既有利
The
于
vigorous
沿线
promotion
国
of
家
health
人
along the
民生
Belt
命
and
安
Road
全和社
can
会
not
发
only
展，
benefit
也
people's
是对
safety and
全球
social
医
development,
学和公共
but
卫
also
生事业
shoulder the
的勇
responsibility
敢
of
担
global
当。
medicine and
当
public
下
health.
这场
The
全球
current
公共卫
global
生危
public
机
health
让一带
emergency
一路
has shone a new
是两
light
台
on
的
the
共
principle of
商、共
discussing,
建、
building,
共
and
享原
sharing
则、原
as
则，
embodied in the Belt and Road.
绽放新的
In the
光芒。
post-epidemic
后疫情
era,
时代，
we will
我们
strengthen
将
the
加强
cooperation on global
全
public
球
health,
公共卫生合
expand
作，
cooperation channels in medical
在医学
research,
研究、
medical staff
医护人
training,
员培训、
sharing prevention
分
and
享
treatment
防控治疗
experience.
经验等方
To
面
this end,
扩
we
展
have launched
合作
the
渠道。
Silk Road
为
Summit
此，
Forum
我们
on
在9月
Healthcare
15
in
号，
Western China on
我们
September
学校
15,
的科
which
技创
belongs
新月
to
活
an
动
event
中
of the Science and
举办了
Innovation
中
Month.
国西部
In this
四部
forum,
卫
we have
生
already
健
sent the
康
proposal
高
for the
峰论坛。
establishment of Belt and
那么
Road
这个论坛
International
呢，也
Community
是
of Health
面
for
向
governments,
一带一
medical
路
schools,
沿线的各
research
部政府、
institutes,
医学
medical and
院
health
所、科研院
institutions,
所、
and all sectors
医
of
疗卫生
society
机构
along the
等
Belt
社
and
会
Road.
各界。我
This
们发出
international
了共
community
建
will be
一带一
committed
路
to the
卫生
cooperation
健
in
康
the field
共
of
同
medical
体的
education
倡
and
议，
personnel training, in the frontier
该
field of
共同体
medical
将致
science
力医学
research,
教育、
in the field
人才培养
of
领域的
medical
合作，
innovation and
共
advanced
同
technology,
致力于医学科
public
学
health,
和前沿领域的合
and
作，
infectious
共同
disease
致力于
prevention
医
and
疗创
control,
新、先进技术
health
领域的合作，
promotion and
共同致
health
力于
knowledge
公共卫
dissemination,
生与传染
sharing
病
of
防控
health
领域的合
information
作，
and policy,
共同致力于健康促进
vital
与
needs
健康知识
of
传播
people's
领域的合
lives
作，
and
共
health.
同致力于健康信息与政策分享领域的合
At
作，
present,
共同致力于面向
we
人
have
民
received
生
the
命健
support
康重大需求领域的合作。
and congratulations
目前，那么我们的倡议呢，已受到了
from
泰国、
two
马来西
former
亚两位
dignitaries
前
of
任政要、
Thailand and
两位
Malaysia
诺贝尔
and two
诺
Nobel
贝尔
Prize
奖获
laureates.
得者的支持和祝
Besides,
福，
the
以
organizations
及
in
来自
China,
中国、哈萨
Kazakhstan,
克斯坦、土库莫斯坦、
Turkmenistan,
德国、英
Germany,
国、葡
the
萄
United
牙、
Kingdom,
意大利、罗马
Portugal,
尼亚、苏
Italy,
丹、吉布
Romania,
提、加
Sudan,
纳、刚果、
Djibouti,
卢旺
Ghana,
达、
the
坦桑尼
Republic of
亚、
Congo,
马
the
拉
Republic of
维、
Rwanda,
赞比亚、波
Zambia,
斯瓦纳、泰国、
Malawi,
澳大利亚、
Botswana,
加拿
Thailand,
大、美国、
Australia,
埃及、
Canada,
中
the
国
United
香港、
States,
中国
Egypt,
澳门
and
等国家
Chinese
和
Hong
地
Kong,
区的相
Chinese
关机构
Macau,
的积极响
and
应
other countries
和
and
倡
regions
议，
have
我们将
responded
有信心、
actively to
有
our
决心、
initiative.
有能力
We
和
have the
响应单
confidence,
位建设
determination, and
长久合
ability
作，
to
齐
establish
心协力，
long-term
共
cooperation
谋
with
卫
the
生事
responding
业
units
大发
and
展。
work together for the development of
中国
health.
经验呢，已经成为全球
China's
抗疫
experience
提供
can
的
be
有益
beneficial
借鉴。
references to
中国方
global
案为
anti-epidemic
全球
efforts.
抗疫注入
China's
了
plan
信心
can
和
bring
力
more
量。
confidence and
中国
strength to
贡
the fight
献
against the
为
global
全球
epidemic.
共克时
China's
艰，
contribution is indeed a dynamic
做出
illustration
生命闪示，做
of
出
how
生
all
动闪示。
mankind overcome difficulties
生命之
together.
上，维护健
Paramount
康，
life,
携手
guard
共进，
health,
共
and
同
working
发展。
together for mutual
希望我们
development.
能够携手
Let's come
共筑
together
一
to
带一路
establish an
卫生
international
健康
community
共
of
同体，
health. Work
携手
together
共
for the
谋
health
人
and
民
well-being of
健康、
mankind
人类健康福祉，共
and
建
build
人类美好
a
家
better
园，
home
为生
for
命之光。
all of us.
我最后还要强调的呢，就是在这一次抗疫过程当中，
And I also
因为
want
我
to
们
say
有150人的团队在
that
武汉呢，
we
这
are
个
working.
工作了2个多月。
We're making lots of
同
efforts
时呢，我
at our
们作
hospital,
为西安地区
the
的定点医院，
Wuhan
也收
Hospital,
治了大批的病人。
first
其中
affiliated
最
hospital
重
of
的病人
Xi'an
也是
Jiaotong
在我们医
University,
院，
and
最
we
后
are
痊愈
working
出院。
together
那么
with
这位
Wuhan,
患者呢，戴埃克帽就将近3个月，
and we are
所以
going
呢，
to
我们也是
continue
在
our
这个
efforts
新冠疫情的救治、预防以及重危病
and
人的抢救方
we
面
hope
积累
that
了
we
丰
are
富的
going
经
to
验。
expand our efforts
那
with
么
the
后面
international
也欢迎呢，这
community,
个我国大家在后面的救治过程当中，
and
那
I
么有任
wish
何的疑
all
问
of
问
us
题，可以随时
fruitful
呢和我们
work
联系。那
in
么
the
另外
future,
呢，就是我们医院现在作为西部地区最大的医院
and
之一，
our
那么在医
hospital
疗
is ready
救
to work
护、
with
重危
other
病人的救
hospitals
治
as
这一
well
方面，那么
around the
也有
world
完善的
and
决
in our
策，
country
那么
and
也
in
有
the
这个
region.
这个非常好的医疗技术，那么随
And
时
I
呢也
think
可
we
以
are going
向大家
to
提
get
供
good
交流
results
和帮助。谢
and
谢
we
大
will
家，
be
祝我
ready
们今天的
for
会议
cooperation.
圆满
Thank
成功。
you, everyone, for giving us a chance to speak. Thank you.
Господин Ши, мы благодарим вас за ваше выступление и также благодарим...
Thank you very much, Mr. Shi, for your report and for your contribution to fighting COVID epidemic in the world. And I think that we are going to do some joint work to overcome the effects.
好，谢谢，谢谢。
Thank you very much. And in the second part of this session, we are going to talk about innovative development, business support, and implementation of international projects during and after the pandemic. And I give the floor to the Ambassador on International Relations of Sejong City, Korea, Mr. Lee Yun-il, who is going to talk about the development of smart cities.
Hello, can you hear me? Thank you. Thank you for giving the floor. First of all, I'd like to appreciate to Sa Republic and Yakutia and for the organizing of these sessions and I also would like to extend my thanks to the Secretary General of the Association of NEO as well. At the outset, I'd like to introduce my city. And please, next page. This is my city, Sejong Special Autonomous Cities. It was born 2012. It's very young, just 8 years old, and it is now being constructed with the application of state-of-art technology, 21st urban planning. The location of my city, you can see some in the center of my country and in the center of the Northeast Asia. My city is developed as the center of our national administrations. Now we have almost how many? 43 national central agencies, including Ministry of Economic Finance, Ministry of Interior Affairs, Ministry of the Welfare and Public Health. All important ministries are all located to my cities. And please, next page. Yeah. Originally, the site of my city was rural pastoral areas with a very peaceful landscape with a very beautiful river. However, now being constructed with a target of completion 2030. So it's now being really the center of our national administrations. So my city is just gonna be a kind of some green sustainable development with the national public administration and also some open international cultural global cities. Let me see today is some thematic issue is about the COVID-19. So let me see our situation of COVID-19 situation. So we have, my city have 76 confirmed cases. So however, we are now just some very small number of just 9 the confirmed patients are now hospitalized. But however, you can see some 187 self-quarantined. This is the people who have contacted the confirmed patients or some other regions or possibly to be infected. So anyhow, we are now very successfully managing and handling the situation. And please, next page. So we'd like to now sharing the all best practices of how to handle the COVID-19. So you can see on the bottom. So in the left side is the drive-through testing mechanisms. This was the first in practice imported into practice in my cities. Now all over the world is followed by the similar or some exactly same kind of mechanisms. We are also applying another kind of yes, it's so-called walking through testing systems. With this some practices, we are now I believe successfully cracking down on the corona cases. Let me see today our topic is about the way of international relations after post COVID-19. So, Mr. Chair, I believe what is the essence of the crisis related to COVID-19? I guess this real the danger to human security and influencing the current political, scientific, and social economic aspect of the world. However, historically, we have experienced so many crises, including pandemic disease like the pest, flu, etc. But however, we are so successfully overcome those. So this is why I'm very optimistic on our possibility to overcoming the pandemic. One thing I would like to comment on the nature of this pandemic. So COVID-19 is a transboundary due to the worldwide movement. That is a kind of result of the globalization. Let me talk about what the implication on international relationship forward we will have with this the COVID-19. So I believe The worldwide concerted actions on the world community levels are so much required now, more than ever, and rather than the isolated and individual efforts so as to crack down on pandemics. Also, this situation is requiring on mechanisms to establish on objectification of scientific information and knowledge, including those on the pandemic, which will have to be open, transparent, fair, and professional. Particularly with the climate changes and the global warmings, in particular, the expansion of Wekumene in the northern area, including your republic, we are to be ready to address such unknown danger like pandemics or other disasters by way of mutual cooperation to prevent and to minimize all the damages through early notice and consultative process. Also, we have to minimize the economic damage to the international chain of supply and demand, as well as to prevent as far as possible contractions of economic activity. This is very important, our living foundations. Also, I'd like to observe that it is very important to help increase the use of virtual means of communication based on ITC technology and the post-industrial revolution in order to promote the international exchanges and the cooperation, as well as to supplement the loss of direct contact on the international levels. And we are now talking about the regional government, some implications in the context. So what would be some our prospective effort to promote the international relationship of the post-COVID-19 on the local government levels? I believe we should support within our competence the furthering international cooperation and exchange in safe conduct through such improvement in terms of the human security, including public health, resilience, and environment. But I believe its primary responsibilities belong to the local governments. So this is why the latter part of my presentation, I would like to introduce our idea on the smart city. So one of the best important some pillars or ideas of which we be keep the public health. So this is some wholesome related to the human security system, the smart city initiatives. I'm also looking forward to encouraging local entities to actively play a larger part on the international, regional, and the sub-regional level in non-political areas that the national government would not be able to cover. And so in our Northeastern Asia sub-region area, where comparatively regional cooperative mechanism and activities looking somehow weaker than other regions. And so the association of NIA is expected to commit and engage.
Excuse me, Ambassador. Turn your chart. We can see the.
This is just a comment, not followed by the chat. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me continue. Okay, yeah. Or expected to commit, engage more in wishing to share best practice and information on policy, administration, not to mention about the disinfection and treatment of the pandemic. So let me go to the smart city. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about the smart city ideas. We believe in coming the 2050, around the over 70% of the world population will live in the cities. So, but the city is the most important area to manage some human life and living and the activities. So nowadays, the smart city idea is the management of very intelligent management of cities. Our ideas is based on the various pillars and areas. It's in terms of the smart energy, smart environment, and human security and safety and transport. So our city is designated as an official smart city by my government. So yeah, you can see the site, the future site of our smart cities. In the north east side of the city, some our futuristic smart city will be constructed, as you see on the photo. So we call it Sejong Pilot Smart City. Already this year, we are now forming a project companies to start and to construct the cities, which is located in the corner of our cities. So next page. So this smart city ideas is to provide convergence service embracing 7 innovative factors. Very important 7 innovative factors is from the energy, mobility, and the human public health, and the job, and the governance. So all integrated into the AI-based blockchain, the data management center. So this based on such some state of art, the technology, and the fourth industrial revolutions. Next page. So this is the idea, the concept, the composition of the smart cities. So we are now developing some Sejong style smart cities, which will be completed is coming 2022. Yes, next page, please. In this occasion, so I would like to introduce our autonomous driving vehicle project, which is a part of our smart cities, particularly the part of our mobilities. Everybody knows on the world nowadays, so many some companies and countries are now testing the self-driving cars project. But however, we have such the characteristics. So we are now focusing on the public transport rather than the individual transport. Before, please. Oh, yes. Yeah. So my city is composed of such a very long ring road. We are now considering to put into practice such some very important public autonomous driving special bus. So this is a concept car to be into practice near future. Please next, please. Yeah, next, please. Yeah. Now we are now testing 3 kinds of autonomous driving cars. And the first part is in the central part of my city, so the Central Park. We are now testing the passenger related transport services, and another is near to the living zone testing bed, and the third one is also a part of some job center of the people where people are working to the residence area. So is now being tested. Okay, next please. Okay, so I would like, yeah, I should finish somewhat or what to do today. So our Sejong cities is now going to be some national capital, administrative capitals. In coming in the near future. So also we want to be friend all over the world, and we are very open. And on this occasion, I would like to really become your best friend to you all. And once again, I thank you for organizing these sessions with the Sa Republic, Yakuti, and the Gyeongsang-Bukdo, near the association, and I wish you all that very safe and healthy and happy. Thank you very much for your attention.
Большое спасибо, господин Ли, за...
Thank you very much, Mr. Lee, for your exciting presentation. Of course, we wish you that all your plans come true. And indeed, Sejong is very promising in terms of organizing this new administrative capital of Korea. So all success in that. Colleagues, we're a little behind the schedule, but still we have 2 reports. So let's listen to them. And I would like to address Amurskaya Oblast. And this will be First Deputy Minister for Economic Development and Foreign Affairs, Ekaterina Kireeva. Please.
Dear Sergey Vasilyevich, dear Mr. Kim Hong-che, dear organizers of this event, on behalf of the government of Amur Oblast, I congratulate everyone on this online session of NIR. And despite the coronavirus, we have to organize this session in a distant format. I am confident that this event is necessary and it's going to be very productive and necessary for everyone. And dear friends, I want to talk about the experience of our region on implementing international projects in conditions of the epidemic. Of course, COVID became a great challenge for us, but in these difficult conditions, we are not giving up and we are moving forward. Amur Oblast, well, a few words about Amur Oblast. We are on the border of Heilongjiang province of China, and it is the longest border, over 1,200 kilometers, and we worked to make this feature a competitive advantage for us and to develop our region. We are building bridges with our Chinese partners in power generation. We have an oil pipeline, we have a power line for exporting energy into China. We have finished constructing the Power of Siberia gas pipeline and started supplying natural gas. And we are also planning a new large transport corridor, because this year, despite all the difficulties and distant education format, we have finished constructing a new car bridge near the cities of Blagoveshchensk and Haihe, and we are actively working with our Chinese partners to open this site by the end of the year to start cargo transportation on this new bridge and to receive the largest economic effect. We are working with companies who want to invest in this region. We have attracted a large investor from Russia, which has finances and competences to create the largest transportation and logistics hub in the far east of Russia, and it has 3 stages. And in November, we're going to launch the first stage. In addition, we are actively working to attract more residents into our territory of fast development. As you know, all these residents receive large benefits, which are unprecedented for their activity. And we support their work with all the modern formats and possibilities. We also have an active dialogue with our Chinese partners, albeit distantly, and we continue this topic as well, creating and developing tourism. Amur Oblast is in the 4th place in Russia for number of Chinese tourists who arrive here, and we are working to increase the number of tourists going both ways, and we are planning and creating the necessary infrastructure despite the epidemic. And this year we are in the active phase of constructing a unique cable road across the Amur River. This is going to be the first such site in the world. It's going to be a very interesting tourist site, and we are very actively trying to help this project and help the investors, assist them. And we hope that it's going to start working in 2 years. What else? Maybe some of you have visited our region, and the uniqueness of our geography is that the city center of our city is just about 700 meters from the Chinese town of Heihe. And of course, tourism is very topical for us. Unfortunately, in conditions of this epidemic, passenger traffic has fully stopped, but continuing our good traditions, we are continuing to share our experiences. And recently at the World Tourism Day, we had this very good event with our partners, and we shared our opinions on how we can live and work continuing on in these conditions. We are also working in the sphere of trade. We have very good conditions for developing agriculture in our oblast. I have already talked about that in Yakutsk last year. It's about 2 million hectares, and we produce about 40% of total soybeans in Russia. And we have about 60% of the arable land in the whole Far East of Russia. We export soybeans to China and to other countries, and we are planning to expand our work. Unfortunately, of course, our exporting companies are now in difficulties due to COVID-19 pandemic, as the requirements for sanitary control have harshened a lot for all outgoing and incoming cargo. But we, with our partners in Heilongjiang province, have a stable cargo transportation communication, and cargo was flowing without stopping. And this allowed our companies to continue work even in these difficult times. Additionally, a positive experience we had was the experience of mutual supply of necessary medical products as an aid, which we sent to our colleagues, to our neighbors. And I think that this shows the high level of our friendship and the readiness for helping each other. And a few words about the special bridge that connects our border regions. This is the humanities connections, especially between people. There are such large, well-known events such as the Festival of Culture and Art, which are held in both sides, as well as the international swimming event on the river, and an international ice hockey match, which we managed to organize in the beginning of this year, before the start of all this. And this year we have also started the international rally on the river Amur, and we hope that it's going to continue and will be held next year as well. And we hope to get the representatives from near regions there as well. We are also going to have the International Winter Sports Forum, which is a very interesting event. And once again, I invite you all to take part in these events if the conditions allow. And also, I want to say about a very important event date for the whole world. It's the 75th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. And as a joint celebration. By tradition, we had this Flowers on Water event on the River Amur. Mayors of our two cities, Blagoveshchensk and Khaykha, put down wreaths of flowers on the river. And I want to point out 3 points here. First of all, I want to thank the organizers, colleagues from the Republic of Yakutia and NIR for this beautiful event that you're organizing. And I would like to congratulate our Chinese colleagues with the day of the establishment of the People's Republic of China, which is going to be celebrated in a few days. And I'd like to wish you all good health. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ekaterina Petrovna, for your interesting presentation. Yes, Amur Oblast is a large logistics and transportation and agricultural hub of our country. And it is also an important center of international cooperation in the Far East. And we really appreciate our joint cooperation and wish you to implement all these projects. Dear colleagues, and the floor is given to Mr. Han Che-son, the head of the Department on International Relations and Trade of Gyeongsangbuk-do Province from the Republic of Korea, who is going to speak on the support of small and medium enterprises.
Hi, friend. It was a pleasure to meet you all. My name is Jae-sung Han, Director of Foreign Affairs and Trade Department of Gyeongsangbuk-do. And thank you for giving me a chance to explain on export support policy of my province. Before I present my article, I'll inform you my province Gyeongsangbuk-do is designated as United Nations 75 partner city recently. Therefore, please congratulate us. Okay, from now on, I'm present my stories. In my presentation, I will tell you 4 topics. The first, the general status of Gyeongsangbuk-do, and second, the economic analysis and strategics. Third, major project for export support for small companies. Last, the final future plans. From now on, I will mention my province Gyeongsangbuk-do as GB for convenience. First, about my province GB. GB is the southeastern part of Korean Peninsula and the largest province of Korea. The population is 2.6 million. I'm very proud of my province GB because my province is homeland of Korean culture, and my province has been a powerful role to create Korea as world economic top 10 countries. We have well-equipped high-speed railway, KTX, expressway, airport, and port. So we are getting closer to the world and open our arms. As GB is about 1.5 hours distance from Seoul, the capital of Korea, by KTX. We are planning the new cutting-edge international airport. It will be opened in 2028. My province key industry is IT, electronics, steel, and auto parts. Korea's top leading companies such as Samsung, LG, Hyundai, POSCO are in my province. Beyond that, many foreign companies such as Germany, Siemens, Japan, Toray, French Valeo are expanding the investment in my province. Under the circumstance of COVID-19, Korea's export volume shows a 10.6% decline year-on-year. My province GB 7.5 reduction. In economic growth rate, the world is expected to show -6 growth, but my province GB is -2.1 growth. In this regard, we will make diversified effort to overcome economic difficulties. Let's move on to Cyber Expo Conference. We hold permanent business meetings targeting Southeast Asia, Japan, China, and India. We also hold non-scheduled business meetings several times targeting Asian countries and Oceania. The business meeting is usually held for 1 to 3 days. Let's see online and offline marketing now. We have opened 135 shops in 13 global online malls, including Amazon, eBay, and Tmall. We will not be complacent, but go further. We are expanding online consultation with online exhibition, such as by Korea. In addition, taking advantage of K-Food Wave, we are expanding sales promotion, utilizing overseas distribution network. I will explain SOS Sport for exporting companies. The next chart. Okay. We are supporting overseas branch service by utilizing foreign resident officers of my province and related organizations such as KOTRA. Because it is not easy to travel to foreign countries under COVID, we are supporting export logistics cost approximately $5,000 for a company to reduce export charges. Moreover, we are supporting export insurance to mitigate export risk. I will explain in this chart the customized on-site export support to reinforce corporate competitiveness. First, overseas market research. Second, global consulting with ties overseas private networks. Third, support for foreign certification costs such as FDA and halal. Fourth, online trade and practical training. These are some of the support examples we are providing. Next. From now on, we will expand the scale of Cyber Export Conference so that we would hold conference twice as much this year. We are planning to lay a foundation for small companies' online export infrastructure, such as making homepage in foreign language and catalogs. From next year, we will make an attempt to create foreign intellectual property, such as overseas application and international patent support. Next. There is a Korean proverb, 2 heads are better than 1. Like this, I hope that there will cooperate each other for tackling difficulties and get over current COVID-19 together. Thank you for listening, and thank you for giving me a chance to explain about my province. Thank you, friend.
Большое спасибо, господин Хан. Конечно же, пандемия.
Thank you very much, Mr. Han. Of course, pandemic impacted all the branches in many regions. That's why it's crucial to keep up our communication. And I thank Gyeongsangbuk-do province for their great contribution to development of our association. So thank you once again. So colleagues, we have finished with the presentations. And in the end, I would like to give the floor for some closing comments to Mr. Kim Ok-cha, the Secretary General, please.
In today's meeting, we exchanged valuable opinions on where local governments have been focusing their policies in the COVID-19. I believe that the discussions were timely, relevant, and relatable. Going forward, I hope that there will be more platforms of this kind, since local governments can share their experiences responding to emerging challenges through exchange and cooperation between NEA members. Lastly, I would like to appreciate the officials of the Republic of Saha for their hard work in holding today's successful event, and the participants from NEA member regions for attending today's meeting. I wish NEA members good health and happiness. Thank you.
Спасибо, господин генеральный секретарь.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General, for organizing today's online session, which is a very topical issue we talked about. And at the end of this session, we can say that each region has their own features, their own experience on fighting the coronavirus. And it is very important for us to continue sharing our experience, to continue to cooperate, to overcome the consequences of this epidemic. Of course, tomorrow depends on all of us, on our work, on our mutual cooperation. I would like to thank all the speakers, all the participants, all the listeners of our session, and I hope that we will see each other again in the future events of NEAR, and we will see each other live. And I would like to, on behalf of our government, to invite everyone to the General Assembly of NEAR in Yakutsk. Good health to you, and I will see you again. Thank you all for your work.
예, 김옥재 총장님.
여기서 다 들리는데 다른 사람.
네, today's you did a very good job in conference NEAR. It looks like wonderful. You looks like today's. We are very proud of you. Today's you had a very important role to communicate in NEAR participant. Okay, let's make this kind of conference. Yeah. Okay, everybody, every friend. Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Hello. Я хочу говорить по-русски.
I would like to speak in Russian.
Спасибо and до свидания.
Thank you and goodbye.
Let me share some next occasion. Thank you for
Okay,
all
we
the
love
effort.
you, everybody. Bye. Okay.
До свидания.